company with an office in London, but we help students all around the world with everything related to the US university application process, from tutoring for the AP or IB curricula, standardized test prep, to all-inclusive counseling. We focus on mentorship, so we help students grow as individuals and not just as students. There are literally thousands of universities in the US, and many of them have different requirements or different deadlines, and I think that can make it a really complicated process. So it's helpful to have an external counselor because they can offer the individual attention that's really helpful in getting through all of that. And I think we do this for our full-time job, so we are really well versed in all of the specific details, and we can just be there for students outside of school hours. Students should start thinking about their applications no later than year 10, because universities will go all the way back to year 10 to look at your academics and your extracurricular activities. Attending university in the UK and the US are entirely different experiences, and so the application process for both are different as well. Students, when they apply to the US, are applying to the university as a whole and not to a specific program, which means that the application is looking for how students are going to contribute to the campus community and not just academically. So it's a holistic application process, which means that universities are looking at all of these different components of the application. And I think what further complicates things is that each of those components, while they're similar to the UK in name, are completely different in content. So for example, the personal statement in the US is a creative writing exercise, and it's not a student talking about why they're academically able or why they're suited for a particular course of study. Extracurriculars carry much more weight in the US. The interview is just a casual conversation with alumni rather than a short list experience. And so all of those different components are treated differently in the US, and I think that's what makes the American application process so confusing for families. The SAT and ACT are standardized tests that are equally accepted by universities. So students should take a full-length diagnostic test of both to determine which is a better fit for them. If universities truly did not want to see test scores, then they would be test blind, not test optional. Rankings in the US are subjective, so students should focus more on which university is a good fit for them. And I think this is where it's really helpful to have a counselor who's knowledgeable about the different university experiences in the US. Students that want to apply only to hyper-selective universities have a pretty unrealistic list, and they should be open to exploring universities that are less well known but equally good. Students should keep in mind that they're going to live on campus at these universities for up to 4 years. And so it's important that a university be a good fit, not just academically, but also socially. Academically, this might mean just making sure that a university has the program that you want to study. For example, a lot of students will come to me and say, I want to study business at Princeton. Well, Princeton doesn't have a business program, so that's not a good fit academically. Socially, there are things to consider like urban versus rural, East Coast versus West Coast, or large versus small student body population. Typically, professors don't play a role in the admissions process, but some universities do track whether a student has ever demonstrated any interest in the past. So students can do this by signing up for email lists, attending information sessions, or visiting campus when possible. Most universities offer virtual information sessions or tours, but students can also use university websites, social media, or even Google Maps to get an idea of what campus and the surrounding area is like. In addition to the regular deadline, many universities offer early deadlines as well. One of these is early decision, which is a binding commitment to attend a university if accepted. Students can only apply early decision to one university, but it's a really great way to show a university just how serious you are about your application. There are other early deadlines as well that may not be binding, but they might limit a student to just their one application as well. Students should really look at their list of universities and all of the different deadlines that are offered and then strategize from there. This is a conversation that is probably even more complicated than the actual application process, but I will say that the first step in determining financial aid is to research the universities on your list to see what types of aid they offer and whether you qualify. Most universities have a tuition calculator somewhere on their website where you can enter your family's information and you can see what you would be expected to contribute to your tuition bill. In addition to that, most Ivy League universities only offer aid for students with demonstrated financial need. There are no academic or sports or merit scholarships in the Ivy League. So that's a big distinction to make. Start as early as possible. The US application process takes lots of research before students even begin their applications. It can take months to make a good application. It can be done in a shortened timeline, but it just makes the whole process stressful for everyone.